Happy Friday afternoon, everybody. Clint here, excited to be coming at you and talking about AKs, modern AKs, traditional AKs. If you're watching this after the fact, that's quite okay. I've got the link down in the description, on YouTube at least, to the full video. And I wanted to talk to a few of you today a little bit earlier because later this afternoon, later this evening, we are going to have my Zoom call in the briefing room with all of the 50 Cal tier members on Patreon. I've got that linked on Instagram if you're curious. But today, this afternoon, this Friday afternoon, we're talking AKs, modern versus traditional AKs. As you can see right above my head here, I've got my M72 Zastava RPK that I absolutely love. And right to my right here, yes, you're going to see a beloved FAL of mine, but that's not the subject today. But DS Arms SA58 FALs, they're pretty sweet. But this guy, another more traditional AK, Pioneer Arms Sporter. I did a video on that not too long ago. And then right behind me, let me actually move the microphone out of the way here. You're going to see my Meridian Defense Pestilence. Again, more of a traditional looking AK, wood furniture, things like that. And then the video that I most recently did, the topic of today's discussion even, is all about modernizing my original Zastava InPap underfolder, which is, well, okay, that didn't really help. I'll just talk louder, which is this guy. And I got to tell you, I upgraded it from a bunch of accessories from JMac Customs. Justin McMillan, his wife, Clash Queen, awesome people. And I've always been a fan of his products. And now I've got my Zastava with the ZVOOC silencer and everything else too that I've upgraded, added some more modern features to this AK variant. And what makes it a little bit more modern, right? Well, first off, one thing I didn't hit on in the video and I should have is the Zastava that I upgraded, my underfolder, didn't have an optics rail on the side of it like a lot of different AKs do. And unfortunately, I didn't set this up right. But you'll notice my M72 behind me has an optic mounted on it, but it's because of the left-hand side optic mount that I can slide a rail onto and get that optic mounted. Same thing with the Pioneer, same thing with the Meridian Defense. The difference with the Zastava is it doesn't have anywhere to mount optics. So now with the Picatinny dust cover, you're going to see I have an optic on there. And that's because of the dust cover giving me somewhere to mount an optic. And notice over here, nowhere to mount the optics mount. So it's nice because I do prefer to shoot with optics. Not that there's anything wrong with iron sights. We all like iron sights. I think we should all train on iron sights. It's kind of like, get good shooting with iron sights, just like you should get good driving with a manual transmission vehicle. And then, if you want to go on easy mode, get yourself an automatic. Yeah, I mean, this is America. We should actually. So, talking about get yourself optics. I'm not talking about anything else or possibly machine guns or anything, of course. But with that, it's nice having that Picatinny dust cover, which locks into place on this bracket that mounts everything else, which is pretty impressive. And if you watch that video, I already dropped the link in the chat. If you watched that video, you'll see that that bracket towards the rear of the gun actually is the housing, the main unit, the foundation for all the other accessories that JMac has to offer. So the enlarged mag well, the M-LOK rail, the Picatinny dust cover all latch in to that one piece. It's very streamlined and it's nice looking and I like it quite a bit. So I'm definitely a fan of that entire setup. So yeah, I am a huge fan. But when it comes down to modern versus traditional AKs, obviously, here's the thing. It really does matter at the end of the day if you're more of an AR guy or more of an AK guy. And I'll explain my thought process behind that. AR guys are going to pimp out and kit out their ARs. And let's be transparent, I am more of an AR guy. So my ARs are the ones that I've got set up for all these different jobs, if you will. My AKs, I like them. I love actually the AK platform. I think it's fantastic. I love shooting it, but it's not probably the gun that I'm picking up, in a life or death situation. So I don't mind them being a little bit more, well, wood stocked and traditional, like my M1 Garand, which, since we're talking AKs, it's kind of hard not to talk about the M1 Garand since they are actually very similar in design, believe it or not. But with all that, I like to keep, some of my guns just more out of the box traditional, not doing a lot of aftermarket stuff to them. The AR kind of beckons for it. It's already a very modular platform. And let's be honest, there's not as many aftermarket or as much aftermarket support for the AK variant or the AK rifle. Thankfully, companies like JMac, like Midwest Industries, Zenitco, and so many others have a lot of aftermarket support for different AK types. And then you get into the Yugo style AKs, which a majority of mine are. Well, I can't say a majority, but a couple like my Zostovas are. They are going to take different rails, different stocks, different this, that, and the other. And so you have to be careful about finding aftermarket support for that. And thankfully, JMac has that support. So I'm pretty happy to, have them as friends and of course, have them as an available, I guess you could say available solution is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, there you go. But anyway, so of course, comment section, chat, light it up. I do like having a more modern AK with, the M-LOK rail if I wanted to mount something more to it. The Picatinny gas tube, which also hinges into everything else, which is really cool. But integrates, I should say, not hinges. But I am a really big fan of how this looks, how it functions, how it feels. Yeah, I like it a lot. And so when it comes to having a more modern AK, I'm a fan. But if you're more of the AK guy, and the AK is the firearm, something that you're going to want to use as your life or death gun, then it would make sense that that's the one that you're going to pimp out. Right? So AR versus AK guy, AR guys are going to be more likely to kit out their ARs versus an AK. They might just want to buy just to add to the collection, just to say, hey, I have an AK. AK guys are going to be more likely to pimp out their AKs because that's what they are comfortable with and what they want to trust. So it just makes sense in my mind. I do like the fact, obviously, leading by example here, have both. Why not? So there you go. X marks the spot. Cut myself early to be here. That's funny. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being a monthly member. Greatly appreciate you. And Peter, of course. Good to see you guys. And I'll be seeing y'all tonight as well, which is going to be awesome, as we are going to be having our briefing room Zoom call with Reliant Fitness on Instagram. I'm a huge fan of that. And we've got Urban Hunter 00. I like both. For more serious modernization, I prefer a Galil. Yes, I do love the IWI Galil Aces. I think they are fantastic platforms. And I really want one. So there you go. Connor, good to see you as well. Thank you. Gavin Horn, appreciate you being here. We've got Bort Forts. I battle myself every day whether to modernize my M70 or not. Traditional wood furniture looks so good, but I can't help but feel like the rifle deserves the upgrades. Well, the good news is depending on the aftermarket parts you get, you don't have to do any permanent changes to the gun. So if you wanted to go back to the wood furniture, you can keep all of it there, so it's not a difficult thing to, at the end of the day, throw back on. So yeah, there you go. But anyway, I honestly, that's just when you get into the ballpark of like, yeah, keep one clean, traditional, and then get a second one and pimp that one out, throw all the aftermarket crap on that one. All right. So that's how I feel about that. Peter saying manual tranny means something different in 2026. Oh boy, howdy. Yeah, that's true. D samples 333. Holy crap. Hey, Clint. Love its AK talk too. Good to see you, man. Thank you. I've got a Century Arms C39 Sporter V1, and getting anything to fit on that has been hell. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I would assume that the C39s are taking, standard AK aftermarket accessories, yes, as far as I know, but I don't know. Just got my first AK ZPAP a few days ago. I'm planning to keep this one relatively stock from Solomon Grundy 9735. Yeah, I can. I don't blame you one bit. I am really happy that quite a few. Oh, I don't know. Quite a few. Where was I going with that? ZPAP a few days ago. I read another comment because I saw the 10,000. I'm like, what's 10,000? And then I read the comment before that. We're going to get there. But anyway, yeah, I really love the ZPAP. I love the wood furniture that comes on it already, the M70, if that's the one you're talking about. Absolutely love that gun. And I would probably keep that one stock too. But again, I'm more of an AR guy. We've got, do AKVs count? Sure. Why not? Absolutely. And Gevins has spent 10K modernizing my Arsenal Sam 7 with all Zenitco. 10,000. That's why scrimps like 10,000. It's insane though. I bet, dude. Send us a picture, man. magdumpmafia@gmail.com. I want to check that out because that does sound wild. And 10,000, man. I mean, do you have like a thermal optic on there, like some sort of high-end thermal optic, and that's like 7,000 right there? So, the C930, the C39 V2 takes all the regular furniture. The V1 has the two tank system, so I've had to cut some stuff off. I really didn't want to. I got you. Makes sense now. I've only added a Ataro Arms red dot, Ataro Arms red dot mount to keep my AK. It's a WPB with redwood, my main deer hunting gun down here in South Carolina. Sounds very good. I like that quite a bit. And let me hop on over really quick to some of the comments that were made on the I upgraded my first AK, was it worth it video. Again, link in the chat and also in the description on YouTube if you're wanting to watch the full video. And a lot of it pretty positive, the fold stock is a vibe for sure, even though underfolding stocks are not the most comfortable things out there. I did paracord wrap mine, and because I paracord wrapped it, that does make it a little bit thicker. So with the enlarged magwell from JMac, it won't fully close without really actually having to put some force on it, but it still closes enough to be able to get a good grip on the grip and shoot the gun without it, causing any problems, which it wouldn't anyway. But at the end of it all, I'd rather have the paracord wrap because it's more comfortable. It looks kind of cool, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'll keep it on there for now. But at the end of it all, underfolders are their own vibe, but they are not the most ergonomic. They're not the most, they can be practical, yes, especially if you're, in and out of vehicles, things like that. So I get that. Burn-proof gear wrap. This is from Peter Castle. Will solve that heat problem. Now I want an AK with JMac parts. I only have 2 months. Peter's unfortunately out of Virginia, and there's some bad things happening there. Which I think I might record a video tomorrow, maybe, about top 5 things you should look at getting before they're banned. So. Yeah, it really sucks that that's the kind of the fight that we're having to fight right now, but here we are. And let's see, Alex, hey, Petikov, good to see you as well on in the comments section. Love it, love it, love a good AK video and explaining these things is awesome, and I just love the setup. Appreciate that as well. And I got to tell you, I am a fan of this setup overall. I do like the ZVOOC also. I love that silencer. It looks good. And yeah, it really does shoot really well and sounds really good also. Okay, let's see here. My M70 has the Archangel furniture, so all I had to do was add an optic mount and a light and call it done. Well, that's easy enough. NYET rifle is fine, but seriously, just get a side mount with the red dot. Easy, simple, and works. Plus, wood looks better and is better with heat. Yes, it is better with heat for sure. But again, like Peter mentioned, also you can get those rail wraps, burn-proof gear, like what you see on my FAL. That's a burn-proof gear rail wrap. Same style, can fit, on the, if I remove the comment, of course, again, that same style can fit the M-LOK rail with the Picatinny gas tube of the AK as well. So, or shoot with gloves, or the other option is don't be a bitch, right? I've said that plenty of times. But hey, my hands can only take so much heat before, I've got enough calluses on there already, but even still. Oh man, good to see you, STO Tactical, and yeah, here in VA, it's crazy. Oh, I feel for you guys. I really do hope that Virginia pulls its head out of its butt and we get some things figured out. Gun Owners of America is actively ready to go, suing the state of Virginia because of this huge infringement on the Second Amendment that's coming up. Let's see here. I'm an AR guy all day, meet the targets, but I love my ZPAP 92 tactical pistol with that Wolverine. Also installed the K&S piston and runs great. Man, I'm having a hard time reading today. Wow. So the K&S piston, K&S Precision, K&S Rifleworks, K&S. Well, anyway, look them up. They make these adjustable pistons that you can drop into your AK and it lets it, bleed out more gas if you're shooting suppressed. They're really good. Definitely a fan of them, and I think they are great. And yeah, I am definitely, like I said, a fan of suppressing AKs also. The 7.62x39 cartridge is a great cartridge to suppress. The biggest issue with suppressing AKs, of course, is the fact that you have to be concerned about the barrel concentricity, whatever, because sometimes the barrel is not completely straight. The rifling inside the barrel might not be completely straight and could cause the projectile not to exit exactly center of the barrel. I know it sounds weird, but take my word for it. Making sure anytime that you're throwing a muzzle device, especially a suppressor, on the end of your gun, getting an alignment rod to make sure everything is in alignment, to make sure that, especially if you're, and you shouldn't do this, using a crush washer on a muzzle device or anything like that, that can sometimes actually not seat evenly when tightening down, and that crush washer could cause a slight cant of the muzzle device. So barrel might be this way, muzzle device might slightly be looking this way, and you could start to get some strikes on that muzzle device or suppressor. Do not know why anybody would use a crush washer with like a direct thread suppressor. Just tighten the crap out of that thing and let it run. But I digress. Using an alignment rod to make sure everything's concentric is definitely key here. All right. So coming back on over to the comments here, there is only Zastava. I think Zastava is a great brand. Love the manufacturer. But of course, there are a lot of different manufacturers out there. And I'd like to hear from you guys down in the comment section too. Who are some of your favorite AK manufacturers? Because the U.S. has a reputation of not making like the most desirable AKs. But then you come across brands like Meridian Defense, and I've got their Pestilence here with it's a very nice gun. Absolutely love this gun. And I think Meridian Defense makes excellent AKs. Of course, you pay for them. They are not cheap whatsoever. So there you go. We've got the Victorian Conservative 1093 on YouTube who said, plot twist, I hate AKs. Absolutely despise them. I hate the ergonomics, looks, everything about them. That said, yours looks banging. That's funny. So that's awesome. I appreciate that. I will take that as a compliment. But I really do love the looks of, again, like take a look at the Pioneer that I've got here. I think it does just look classy. It looks elegant. It just looks good. I mean, the M72 hanging up above me, that's a good looking gun, especially again, that longer barrel, longer, heavier profile barrel with that finned barrel for heat mitigation and cooling down, the integrated bipod. I think that's just a really good looking gun. So definitely a fan of that, right? The other thing too, as I was just looking at a couple of these, something too that's becoming a lot more common on AKs, or something as simple as a bolt catch integrated into the safety selector. So if you take a look, my Meridian Defense Pestilence does not have that cutout, but right here you'll see it on the Pioneer. So that allows you to lock the charging handle to the rear if you so need to. A lot of different ranges will require you to keep your bolt locked to the rear, so that way it can be visually inspected to see that it is clear. Obviously, you can use a chamber flag as well, but it's just a nice thing to have. Also, I don't really shoot at ranges anymore that do that because, well, public and private property is awesome. And yeah, I don't like RSOs telling me how fast I can shoot either, especially with FRTs becoming so widely available. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they are very cool. All right. Just throwing that out there. So there you go. Tanner saying, good morning, dude. It seems morning because this is the earliest I've streamed ever. So feels like it. Yep. What do I think about 300 blackout suppressed? 300 blackout should only be suppressed. So that's how I feel about that. I love 300 blackout. I mean, it was a cartridge that was designed to be suppressed. And I do believe that the only reason the 300 blackout kind of exists is because, which is a 7.62 by 35 cartridge. If the 7.62 by 39 cartridge wasn't, Russian, we probably would have adopted it for exactly what the 7.62 by 35 cartridge does, which is CQB suppressed. And if you can imagine, if we just put a lot more work into the 7.62 by 39 cartridge, made some accurate loads. I know Hornady makes a lot of brass 7.62 by 39, things like that. And yeah, but necking it down just a little bit further so that way it runs reliably in AR magazines also makes sense. So, now being serious, 7.62 by 35 exists for good reason. And that's because we wanted, thanks Kevin over at Q. That's because we essentially wanted to replace the 9mm MP5 as the CQB king. And we wanted something that could just do better than 9mm. And of course, being the United States military who it is, and adapting the M4 so it can take the upper receiver of a Mark 12, a Mark 18, an M16. Now you've got your CQB build, mod, whatever the hell, right? So again, you have one lower receiver that can host all these different uppers for whatever the job might call for. So having, the 300 blackout cartridge for CQB, personal defense, it's fantastic if you ask me. The 1911 French Addict. I shot an AK from the 60s months ago, made in Poland. I'm more of an AR guy than an AK guy, but for sure it was really, really nice to shoot. AKs are awesome. Just throwing it out there. All right. Country Bear Assassin, good to see you as well. Thank you. Thank you, Tanner. Thank you, Peter. All of you guys being on monthly members as well. And a few of you guys being part of the Patreon also, and seeing you guys tonight with Reliant Fitness. Really excited about that. I've honestly never even fired an AK. It's definitely on my to-do list. Brother, we gotta get some AKs in your hands, man. AKs are everybody. I mean, you're talking to the same guy who's going to tell you everyone should own at least a couple of ARs with different barrel lengths. Everybody should own a couple of different AKs, a couple of different FALs. Beyond that's just, extra. All right. But a couple of AKs, couple of ARs, couple of FALs, that's like the bare minimum. Okay. Everything beyond that is just, it's a little extreme if you ask me. You can pick up on that sarcasm, I hope. But yeah, definitely shoot an AK. At work, can't stay. Just wanted to pop in and give the support. Thank you, Hector. Really appreciate that. It means a lot, man. For me, it's 11 p.m. Not exactly the morning for me. No, I'm glad I've got people all over the world who actually watches, which is really cool. So thank you guys for tuning in wherever you are. And he also goes on to say the Mark 18, my first AR. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. Trek forward. Isn't it just a matter of preference? I would look at the quality of the rifle first and go down the preference list. It is a matter of preference and opinion, essentially. Like I said, you're talking to the guy who primarily owns more traditional looking AKs. It wasn't until after I acquired all the JMax stuff that I pimped out my first AK that I ever bought, which again is the video that we're basing today's live stream completely off of. And I gotta say, I really like it. I really like it. I like the way it looks, like the way it feels, like the way it handles. I always liked those things about it. But now throwing on even more what I consider practical aftermarket accessories, because now I've got a longer rail on the gun. I have more room for stuff and things. Again, just having the Picatinny dust cover that holds 0 is extremely important, and I like that. I like how it integrates into, again, that entire foundation of the rail. So I really do like all of that. Just throwing that out there. My wife got me an AK for Valentine's Day almost 20 years ago. Jill Smith, almost 20 years ago. Well, that's very cool. That's awesome of her, but I feel like she owes you at least another 19 AKs. Just AK one time 20 years ago. Tell her you need, you can diversify. Throw in a FAL, once every 5 years, just you gotta backdate some of those, right? You need a Mark 18, you need a Mark 12, you need a FAL, you need a shorty FAL, you need a roadie FAL, right? And you need an AKV, right? You need a 9mm AK, so just throwing that out there. All right. That's very cool though. What kind of AK did she get you? 9 p.m. or 2 p.m. in North Idaho. 5.56 AK is best AK. Fight me. I will say 5.56 AKs run really, really nicely. That AK platform is a little bit chunkier. There's more metal on it at the end of the day, right? Sometimes can be a little bit heavier. I always found them to be actually quite light for what they are. But the 5.56 cartridge in a AK variant of some sort feels really good to shoot. I actually don't disagree with this, but I do also like the 5.45 cartridge. The 5.45 RPK I think is freaking sick. All right. And yes, you're right. The RPK. I know it's funny they call it an RPK, but that's not like really what that is. It's just what Zastava named it. It's actually, the M72. But they call it that because I guess it's their take of the RPK. So makes sense somewhat. Doesn't matter. I'm not Zastava. They are. They're the ones that named it. Cool. M72 RPK is what it is. And I absolutely 100% agree with you. It needs an FRT. That gun was made to run quick. All right. Let me come train with you on your property, broski. Chirac veteran. Yeah, come on, man. Well, we are looking at actually opening up the property, so that's kind of exciting. We've got our seedlings planted. I'm currently working on drying out the land because we've had a very wet season. And so, yeah, we've got eggs being produced coming in. So, letting people come in, grab some eggs, grab some fresh produce because, well, grocery stores can suck and I want to get more involved with my community. So we're looking at opening this up late spring. We're really excited about that. And of course, we're going to try to do all sorts of cool things here. So stay tuned. Marsair, Mairsaor. It's Gaelic for live free. And that will be the name of our farm and homestead once we get it opened up. All right. For guys who, and the reason I bring all that up is because, well, that's the property, but also we do host classes with Monadnock Firearms, and my buddy JP, who was the instructor in Operation Blackout. This man's winner of the International Sniper Competition. Fantastic instructor, great guy all around. He oftentimes hosts classes in this area, just throwing it out there. So if you wanted to do that, we could do that. So let's see here. For guys who can't make a choice, maybe go with that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. The CMMG, they can't call it the Mutant, right? But the Mark 47, what they renamed it something, but everybody still calls it the Mutant. But it's a very interesting gun. I like it. I'm not a fan of 7.62x39 ARs personally. I think there's usually like reliability issues, things along those lines. They just don't vibe with me. I don't vibe with them. But the Mutant, the Mark 47 is super cool. And yeah, dude, just tell your wife, man, you need 20 years ago. It was a long time. All right. It's time to get a couple more. And I think you said she got a Wasser, which is pretty cool. Mark 12 will be my next project for sure. The Mark 12, I love that platform. It is my favorite of the different types of ARs out there. 18-inch barrel, especially if you go the Allen Engineering Ops Core way, which you should. Soft shooting, accurate as all get out, effective 700 yards plus. I feel very comfortable with mine. I've taken mine out to about 650 yards, and man, on a silhouette target, pop, 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 stink, ding, ding. I just, freaking loved it, dude. I can't wait to get it on video this year, though. So that'll be a lot of fun. All right. But yeah, Mark 12s, 10 out of 10. Was a Wasser. She paid a 45 for our first anniversary. She made up for the lack of AKs with plenty of ARs. Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. All right. She's cool in everybody's book here. That's for sure. I think the Mag Dump Mafia is going to sign off on that and say probably a couple of these guys are going to ask if she's got a sister, that has the same type of mindset, of course. If I buy an AK, my optic will be the Axiom Cobra, 100% old school style. I'll have to check that out. I'm actually not too familiar with that one. Where's that newly upgraded AK? What's up, guys? What's up, J Raj? And boom, there it is. You can barely see the ZVOOC at the end of it with the suppressor. JMac Industries, JMac, and then Aimpoint. I've gotten the question before, especially also with like I don't have it up here, my EOTech Compact 3-9. I really like, especially on certain platforms, more of the low profile mounts, low profile, lower setting of a mount, simply because, well, I get a better cheek weld depending on what type of firearm it is. Again, my FALs, my AKs, in this case, the iron sights are sitting very low on the gun compared to the ARs, that stick way on up there. So getting something that sits a little bit lower is a lot more practical. So there you go. Definitely a fan of the Aimpoint Pro. All right. Sweet. Okay, here we've got the Smoke 420 Tires barbecue guns. This is live in Seattle. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. SIG 550 series, especially the 5.53 is my favorite AK. That is funny, but also pretty dope, right? Okay, here. Let's see here. She's a keeper, no sister. That's funny. Let's see. I need to run to Harbor Freight, but that requires effort. Frag out. Good to see you, man. What are you trying to get at Harbor Freight? Some cheap Dremels, do some gunsmithing yourself. Yeah, that looks nice AF. Trying to get my buddy that doesn't put attachments on anything to upgrade his AK at least. Why not, man? Gizmos and gadgets are life, dude. Look at this. Do you see what this is? That is, it's only like $3,000. You know what I mean? But if you are looking for a fantastic IR laser illuminator, yep, the EOTech OGL is pretty freaking awesome. I like how compact it is. I do like that it opens up the IR illuminator with this little switch right over here, which is very cool. Definitely a fan of that. And yeah, I'm thinking about maybe popping it on the AK and doing some night vision stuff with it, because I think that shit would go hard. So there you go. But yeah, tell them to throw on some things, man. At least throw a light on there, all right? That's all you know, that works. Also, I changed the trigger in my Z-Pap to an ALG trigger, and it changed everything about this AK. ALGs are awesome. They make great stuff. I sold the Z-Pap I drew on. She was pretty. Oh, big sad. Meridian. Yes, Meridian Defense. There's their Pestilence. Love, 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 love that gun. Such a cool one, that's for sure. I don't believe that much in a do-it-all AR. That's why I own a Mark 18, and we'll go to add a Mark 12. By the way, I have 2 sons. 2 ARs seem logical. Yeah, you know. I mean, I could have my Mark 12 as my primary, my Mark 18 as my backup. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all you got to do. What's your opinion on Riley Defense AKMs? So, I personally haven't had any bad luck with them. Again, I, knew the owner of Riley when I worked over at Classic for quite some time. And like I said, having known them personally, they take pride in their work, and they seemed like they always ran pretty well. I would say that they're probably considered mid, nothing fancy, flashy, nothing like above and beyond. But it's also not what many people would consider to be like a PSA AK, or maybe they would. I don't know. But also, it seems like some of the PSA stuff is doing a little bit better. So, my opinion is, in my experience, they've always worked. That's really all my opinion is. Pretty sure I'm the reason for the Harbor Freight Fire Axe shortage a few years ago. LOL, fun fact. Didn't even know that was a thing. That's funny. And yes, the EOTech OGL. EOTech, by the way, awesome stuff. Love that brand. As you guys know, I mean, there's one sitting right there. And yeah, just throwing that out there. Code MagDump for anybody that might be interested, of course. And let's see here. Selling my art is tough. I want to keep everything, but got to move on to the next. Totally get that, man. Totally get that. And yeah, I still need to get with you about maybe a little project together. I think would be a lot of fun. I don't understand how everyone has illuminators on like every rifle they have. I'm still trying to afford nods. It's called debt. It's called multiple credit cards, and it's called just not caring anymore, So, hey, good news is it's tax time. That's actually terrible news. I hate taxes. We just did our taxes today, and thankfully I paid too much, so I'm getting a little bit of a return. But I hate the fact that I paid too much. Here's my thing, right? Just going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. Here's my idea about taxes. A lot of people will say, oh, I'm getting so and so many thousands of dollars back in taxes, and they want to celebrate. And it's like, no, you've just been taken advantage of by the same power-hungry entity that is the United States government. You just got to take an advantage of. You got no interest on money that they kept that belonged to you, by the way. But if you were to hold out on paying them, you'll be fined penalties and even threatened with imprisonment. For money that you made, by the way, that you worked for, that somehow belongs to something, not even someone, something else. How is this not theft? All right, back to AKs. Oh, man. Freaking hate taxes, dude. I hate them. Oh, meet the targets. What do you miss about Classic the most? Oh, man. Definitely some of the people. I gotta tell you, it's one of those things like when I left the Marines, right? I will say that the people I worked with in the Marines and the people I worked with at Classic, it's military versus civilian occupation, even though they're very similar in some ways because it's the firearms industry. It's not like where I was working before, which was corporate America and payroll and HR and gross stuff. Um, so, but I will say that, man, um, I, what do I miss the most? Uh, you know what I really think about it? And this is something I thought I would actually miss more is all the guns, right? I know it sounds kind of crazy. Like at any point in time, I could walk out onto the warehouse floor, you know, seek approval to grab something off of the floor, like, hey, you know what? We need to do a video with the Barrett M107 or M82. And I need to go grab a case of 50 cal and I need to grab said M82 and let's give the damn thing away. Whatever. And I'd say, hey, send it up. I would very rarely get told no, which was awesome. So that part I do miss. And yeah, then we'd go and shoot content with that gun because I felt like it, like that. I say but it was definitely a group effort. It'll be a lot of strategy behind content, scheduling, things like that, making sure what we were doing made sense for the company too. So yeah, I miss the availability of all the different stuff, like getting some of the first, like when a brand new product gets announced, or sometimes even before it gets announced, and all of that coming in, we get to play with it some stuff like that. That I missed. That was kind of fun, But at the same time, it's like what I have now belongs to me, so that's cool because everything else belonged to the company. And yeah, I acquired quite a few firearms while I was there, no doubt. But now it's like if I want to use something for content, I have to acquire it myself. It's not the company's gun. You know what I'm saying? So, there's a little bit more independence, a lot more independence where I'm at now, obviously, a lot more freedom to do whatever I want because it's my channel, my show. And if I want to go live at 2 a.m., I'll go live at 2 a.m. My wife might not be happy, but it's really only my content calendar that I have to work around now. So what do I miss the most is probably just the availability of, things that you don't see every single day. I would say that. And probably Matt. Definitely miss Matt and Ben, salt of the earth kind of guys, and quite a few other people over there, obviously. But yeah, so there you go. Alrighty, now let's keep on keeping on over here. I don't have nods either, but I got an M107A1, so I can't complain. An M107 is only good if you have the suppressor to go with it. All right. I'm just throwing it out there. Are you planning on, making that a canvas and doing some art on your M107? You can make something pretty Gucci. I'm just throwing that out there. All right. Just going to throw that out there. So, hey, Frag Out Designs, my friend. Good to see you. How are you doing? Still love my Frag Out Designs, AR-15 and Glock 19, the best custom engraving finishes and more. How cool is that, man? So yeah, maybe an Henry, maybe an AK. We could do something to an AK, right? I think that'd be kind of fun. So there you go. All right. So there you go. Frag out some awesome artwork. Checked out his work after the last stream. Keep up the hard work. It's cool stuff. Definitely cool stuff. Oh, man. Tax refund. Hello, comment. There it is. Just bought a Springfield Armory XTM Mod 3. Or XD Mod 3. Gotta run and pick up my boy at school. Have a great weekend, y'all. Have a good weekend to you as well. And yes, to your whole family and your wife for getting you a bunch of guns. That's awesome. Love that. So very cool. And yeah, glad glad you guys are learning a little bit more about Frag Out and others as well here. It's really freaking cool, man. And no, 1911 French Addict, I don't want to see the taxes in France. $1911 French addict. See the taxes in France. You're not based in France, right? I mean, I see the 9/11, we will never forget, things like that. But I'm just curious because you also said your Mark 18 was like your first AR. So I've got questions. That's all. That's all. Sadly, are we all seeing how our tax dollars are getting stolen and misused? Oh, you know, yeah, but that's kind of why I want to do the content that I'm doing. I did it, I like shining light on things that are currently happening pertaining to the Second Amendment, obviously. But I also feel as if one of the big reasons I like doing the types of videos that I do and not so much, news, politics, things like that. I've dabbled in it some, but it's not my primary thing. Uh, is kind of this is a break from all that, man. Let's talk about things we're passionate about, things that we enjoy, because the stuff that sucks is so prominent. It's everywhere, and it's like, yeah, we can come here and vent, complain. You'll see me go on my rants about taxes and all the PDF files that are currently running our country and how we pay them these taxes and where is that money going? Oh, I don't know. Probably to Israel and Ukraine, and it's a bunch of bullshit. But I digress, right? Let's come here and talk about the things that make us happy, like the weapons that they're using in Israel and Ukraine, right? Let's talk about those and all those. Oh man! All right, all right. And you are in France. Huh. The women in France, though. I prefer the Spanish type. That's my wife. She's Spanish, so it can be very scary sometimes, though. I will say that. Kelsey, if you're watching, I love you. All right. Okay, the Israeli Revenue Service. Thoughts on the Polish Circle 11 AKMS understock? Dude, the Polish Circle 11 stuff's awesome. Like that's a home run in my book. So yes, there you go. Alrighty, man. Let's see here. And yes, I do draw on the Barrett. Plan to draw on the Barrett 100%. That'll be really cool. That will be really cool. I do like the idea of perhaps doing some AK stuff, and, going back to the Israeli Revenue Service, I will say this, Bull Armory out of Israel, IWI, obviously, like I said, love their guns. I'm going to keep shooting them. If I buy an Israeli gun, does that mean I've paid for it twice? Probably 3 times. With how much taxes I've had to pay. 4 times. Oh my God, very spicy, the Spanish wives, not always in the nice way. We're here to talk about AKs, guys. All right. Oh man, and if Danet Henry is watching, hit me up. LOL. That's funny. Oh man, I'm just saying. All right. What are my thoughts on Romanian dongs and shark fins? All right. All of this is kind of funny. So, how am I going to say this so it doesn't get clipped? My name's Clint Morgan and I'm a fan of dongs. So, this right here, obviously I set myself up for that one. This featuring the dong, as it's called. That is kind of what that vertical grip has been come to be known as, and I'm a fan of them. All right, I really do. I aesthetics, right? But when it comes down to ergonomics, they can actually get in the way of different magazines, things like that. So I will say that if it wasn't for the vibe, I would cut it at a slant like that right there. So that way the mag won't interfere with the dong as much. All right. Just gonna go ahead and throw that. So this is the funniest live stream since Chaser McNuggets. And dude, this is just a random Friday afternoon, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you guys are starting to pick up the joke on my Meridian Defense Pestilence now. We've got my stock number and the vertical grip. They go well together. All right. So there you go. Oh man. And Frag out saying definitely will be cool. Got a bunch I haven't gotten to yet on some cool stuff. That's awesome, man. Chicken nuggets do sound good right now. I need lunch. So I think we've kind of gotten to the point where we all agree that having both a traditional and modern AK for different applications doesn't matter what the application is. Actually, you can have a traditional AK just like you can have, a pretty slick AR without all the gizmos and gadgets and doing everything that you want it to do. You could have one for long range, have one from home defense. I mean, you got to think about what Simo Haya did with just his, little Finnish Mosin. Was it? What rifle was he using primarily? I don't think it was an M39, 37. But I mean, this man, legendary sniper, and he was running with iron sights. He didn't want the glass or anything like that to give his position away, and he got shot in the face. Crazy, and lived and continued to kill Nazis. Amazing, right? Crazy. So, good times, good times. Alrighty over here. And have I ever looked up the RPK stocks with wood-burned Viking runes on it? No, sounds pretty cool though. I mean, it sounds like pretty fun if you ask me. Jay's picking up 69 with the dong. Guys, I have to go to bed. I work early tomorrow. Sounds weird for a French guy, but if you are still working in the country, thank you for the good time. Best wishes for everyone. Well, have a good night and stay safe over there. And I hope if you are able to have an AR and it is your Mark 18, that it's something that you can rely on. All right, so there you go. He did the thing. I'm tired. We'll take a nap, then fire the missiles. Oh, man. That's too funny. How do you feel about joining law enforcement? Right now? Nah, dog. Nah. Look, man. Everybody to each their own, you know, and I will say, I was working for a small town police department in North Carolina as a 911 call taker and dispatcher. And that was, exciting enough, even for a town of only like, a few thousand people or whatever it was, smaller town. But now, especially for the pay, eh, yeah. And this is just, personal opinion. It's like, I don't really care to sign up for anything like that anymore. I mean, hell, I even got out of the Marines, like I'm doing way too much here under this roof to worry about local government, federal government, and them wanting me to do their bidding. You know what I mean? State government for that matter. Like, I just don't really care to be involved. So, how do I feel about joining law enforcement? Personally, me, not for it. If I was, younger all over again and, no family, no wife, no kids, maybe. But yeah, at this point, it's like, nah, wife, kids. I'd rather spend as much time at home with them as I possibly could. And that's exactly what I'm kind of, building my life around. I've left a lot of, jobs recently. I've taken a lot less off my plate so I can focus more so on here at home. So yeah, that's a lot of what I'm doing. But there you go. But like I said, to each their own. I can't really be me that decides, your future or anything like that. So let's see here. Infringement enforcement, sure. Oh man, I couldn't do it. I had enough trauma in my life. Mad respect to first responders. Fair enough. AKs are still relevant. Just check out Funker and the Ukraine and Russia situation. And I don't think anybody here is denying the relevancy of the AK rifle. It's obviously an extremely relevant and practical solution to very modern problems, traditional problems, if you will, because there's always been violence and war. And the AK has been very good at violence and war. So keep AKing, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. All right. Oh, man. All right. What do you guys get cheap, reliable? What are you guys getting cheap, reliable 760? What brand? It's whatever my local shop has. Whatever Centerfire Ninth wants to send me. The most available that I've had recently was the brass 762 by 39 from Hornady. So I, got a couple cases of that. But other than that, yeah, like I said, big shout out to Centerfire Ninth out of Las Vegas, who's been supporting the channel in that regard because I'm shooting a lot of bullets, which is not a complaint, by the way. And I want to bring as much free content as possible to everybody viewing. And so thank you guys for the views, the likes, the sharing, the commenting, the subscribing, of course, because it helps. And so big shout out to Centerfire Ninth for helping all of that. Bam! Did you consider the 9x39 an AK round and the SR3M and VSS Val as AK variants? So I was going more of like what most Americans would consider an AK, 760 by 39, right? Now that being said, 9x39, that excites me. All right. I've shot 9x39 before. I'm really excited with what Roswell Rifle Works is coming out with their SR3. So yeah, I'm pumped about that. So yeah, because that's definitely more, yeah, that's just so freaking cool. All right. And Ted Snyder on Facebook, good to see you, man. And let's see here. Will keep the Circle 11 stock. Just added the PK01 versus Red Dot. Not the best, but look, I guess. What do you think? Let me take a look. I think it's a cool look. I like it. What's the eye relief like on those? I haven't shot one of those before. Like I said, I think they look cool. It's definitely a vibe. So yeah, that's my only question is, is it nice at the end of the day, right? I gotta go. My dog wants out and throw the ball. Y'all have a good one. Frag out. Take it easy. That's why I had to get off my last live, is because my dog wanted out. So yeah, it's pretty good there. But yeah, no, I think the PKO1 is definitely a very interesting sight. But like I said, I don't have any experience with it, so I don't know about eye relief. I don't know about, how ergonomic it is, how easy it is to get a good sight alignment and everything. So you'll have to kind of drop that one in the comment section, because I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, because we've only got a couple of hours before, again, our 50 cal tier Patreon briefing room Zoom call with Reliant Fitness. So if you guys don't know who that is, check it out. Check him out, Brad, on Instagram, Reliant Fitness. He's going to be on. We're going to be doing some Q&A all about, can you guess what? Fitness. So there you go, right? And it runs on a AA battery. Oh, interesting. German Shepherds. Yeah, tell me about it. All right, guys. Well, that's an easy one for us. Again, modern versus traditional AKs. Where's everybody at? Are you going to be... Don't bubba your SKS. But if you want to modernize your AK, that's completely fine, right? And that's exactly what I did with my Zastava underfolder. JMac Customs, making some awesome aftermarket accessories there. Even the grip you see here on the Meridian Defense Pestilence is JMac, all right? And I've got a couple of other accessories of theirs as well that you're going to be seeing pop up on some other guns, which will be a lot of fun, all right? So, cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. God bless, and we'll see you next time right here. Have a good night. Unless I'm going to see you in a couple of hours in our briefing room. Cool.